Hi everybody, it's Diana and I'm here with a live Teach Me Tuesdays video. Now I popped in a few seconds early just so that I can get myself situated. I'm doing this at a different place that I usually do. I'm going to be sitting down, so usually I stand so I can look in my phone. But as I was messing around with the Zoom the other day, and I just want to thank you all for having such patience with me while I figure out the technology and everything. So what I'm doing is I have it set up on my computer so that I can watch at the same time. And now I understand, I forgot that, oh, I need to make my computer not make a noise. So that was where I was getting the feedback the other day. And I do know that there's a delay. It had just been so long since I'd done a live. So I just want to thank you all for putting up with while I get it all figured out. Okay, so I'm going to do a really simple Teach Me Tuesday. I do want to go over some kind of business. I guess it would be called business. Celebration is winding down. The end of March is when it's over. So today there are some new things added. We have a third release with the celebration. So I'm going to show a couple of those items and use them today in my video. So there is a flyer. I put that on my blog this morning. I also went out. Oh, I need to oh, my phone. Did you hear that? So my phone, I forgot to mute my phone, so hopefully that won't make too many noises. So another thing I need to mute next time. I just don't want to be touching my phone at the moment. So you can get that flyer on my blog, or if you get my email newsletters, I also sent it through there. So last week I showed the fun tall 3D box card, and what I did was I had made I had done some other like little pieces or whatever. So I was wanting to continue on with some of those and show you what I did with some of the finished pieces of it. And the thing that I still wanted to use the ornate style stamp just because I love the color and it is so cool. So then I wanted to make sure I used that. Now, I also wanted to use the die that's on the, the third release, and that's the Wild Roses die. So that's available. So I also wanted to bring that into it as well as the fun red rhinestone basic jewels. Those are on there as well. Let's see, what else? Oh, and also the Rococo Rose Stampin' blends. So I just stamped out a few of the images, and then I just started to play. So let me show you the one that I finished. So I think I showed this being glued last week. So when I put this up onto the YouTube channel, if you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can scroll down within the group here, and because I always put the videos in this group as well, so it just won't be it won't go to the YouTube right at 3 o'clock like usually when I film ahead of time, and then I set it to go at 3. So with the live, who knows how long I will blabber. So this one I just stamped with the Memento ink pad, and then I colored with the blends. So this is where the Rococo Rose, this is where that color came in. And then I did want to pull some Pool Party because this DSP has some Pool Party in it. So that's where I pulled the Pool Party in here. And then I also used some of the Mango. It's a little different than the Crushed Curry here, but it still looks really cool because, I love the daisies or the sunflowers or whatever. And then here's where I added the little gems, the little red rhinestone basic jewels that are part of the celebration. So basically Stampin' Up usually every year they come out with, towards the end of celebration, they pick items that are in the current catalog that you can choose for your $50. You might already have picked all the celebration items that you want, but you still have some other things you want to buy and you're still earning them. So it's kind of cool. Also, as a demonstrator, this is a great time if you have like an upcoming class or a club or something. It's a great time now. You can be picking some items that you can use down your business a little later, or even if you aren't a demonstrator. So, okay, so this is really cool. Now I did use, this is the die that uses, that comes with the whole kit and caboodle from the ornate suite or whatever. So I did use that for this beautiful, beautiful, it's like an ornate die. So I did use that. Okay, so then I thought, well, I just wanted to stamp and color, because right now, you know, we're supposed to stay home. We're not supposed to do anything. So that part of what's going on isn't so bad for me, because I'm a homebody. I'm like my granny. She would sit and knit or crochet. Papa was the social butterfly. He would be out visiting everybody. And so Jeff's like that. So Jeff and I are like my Papa and Granny. So he's the one that likes to go out and about. So I don't necessarily mind having to stay home. It's just the uncertainty, whatever, that's one thing that bothers me, because I have a little bit of anxiety or whatever. But Jeff talks me down or I kind of have a fit. But so anyway, so I was just like stamping some images, and then I started coloring them. Now what I did was I stamped them, and then I cut them out with the that rose folder. Now when you cut them out ahead of time, what you want to do is you want to familiarize yourself with the stamp set, because when you cut it out, you might not be sure what certain things are. So if you just, so like here is my, you know, my stamp. So then I just put it by my coloring so that I know, like, okay, well, that's a leaf there and that's a flower there. So just kind of get yourself familiar with the stamp set if you are cutting out your shapes ahead of time. If you were coloring it, you know, like this, where you're not cutting it out till after, then it's not as big a deal to, like, because you could tell that that's a leaf. So sometimes I like to cut them ahead of time, and sometimes I don't. So like in this regard, so this one I colored with the Stampin' Blends too, but you can tell the difference. So look at these two, you can tell the difference. So this one I stamped with the whatchamacallit, I stamped it with the gray granite stamp pad, so it's like a softer outline of the image. So it does give it like a totally different look to it. And then I just colored it, you know, with the Stampin' Blend, so it just makes it softer. So I did it with the Stampin' Blends. I used some different colors or whatever just to give it, like I used the Granny Apple, because I want to put it on with this. So it was like softer, where this one was very stark and it would be like too bold, I think, for my pool party one. But this is a time that I wish I had not cut it out ahead of time, because now I wish I didn't cut it out, so that I would have this as a circle to put on here. So, you know, live and learn, right? So I was messing around with that. So I'm still undecided what to do with that. I'm just playing. But then I hadn't used my watercolor pencil crayons in like forever. So I pulled those out in my blender pen. So I colored this one using the watercolor pencil. So it gives it, again, a whole different look to it. And then this one is also stamped with the gray granite pad, so that's just a softer. Then I thought, okay, let's totally think outside of the box, and let's do a black and white one. So I'm going to be using, so these are the Stampin' blends I'm going to be using. So I have the light, basic black, I have my color lifter, I have my gel pen, I have the light and dark gray granite, and I have the light and dark smoky slate. So I want to turn this into like a black and white picture, basically. So what I was thinking in my head, like when I was starting to color it, and I'm going to like trim this, get my scissors out, just so my hand is not, so these are my paper. We don't have these anymore, but this is my paper only ones. Sometimes you just want to be able to cut a big straight cut. All right. And then of course I have ones for the ribbon. All right. So let me look up on my phone, make sure you can see. All right. So what I want to do is I want to color this like it is black and white. So I'm going to make my leaves be the dark smoky slate and the light smoky slate. So let me make sure I'm getting the right ones. Okay, so those are two here. So I'm going to take my dark smoky slate and I am just going to put some color here and around the edge and up the center. And I'm just going to turn this into a black and white photo. Now, when I was doing this, it made me think of Mel Brooks's Frankenstein, because that was filmed in a time where we had color films, but they wanted it to look old-fashioned. And I was reading up on it, so they filmed it in black and white. He said that they would have had to make the monster green or something like that if they did it in color, and he didn't want that. So that's what this kind of reminded me of, like when I got coloring it, that, you know, we have color, we have plenty of color, but I'm turning this black and white, so it kind of is almost old-fashioned looking. All right, so I'm just going to come in with my dark. So this is kind of neat to do. So there's my my dark. Now I'm going to go back. Now this was just stamped with the Memento on the Whisper White thick cardstock, and that is my choice. Whenever I use the blends, I always use the Whisper White thick. It just works good. I mean, you can use probably the Whisper White thin, but this is just perfect for it. I have tried other cardstocks, like the shimmery, just it doesn't work well. It like bleeds out. So if you're having any issues, just grab some Whisper White thick and just use it. So all my leaves are going to be these two colors. So already it looks pretty cool, right? Da-da-da. So at least, so now with me being able to look, because usually I stand and I'm not near my computer, so I can't see if anyone pops in. So this is kind of cool. So I can look over to the side and I can see when people pop in. So if anyone has a question, hopefully I don't miss any questions, since I did remember to turn off my microphone. All right, so this is when I need to pay attention so I don't color a leaf or a flower the wrong color. But when you're doing the black and gray, the black and white rather, it's not as big of a deal. Okay, so all my leaves, so that's, like I said, it's a dark smoky slate. And already you could see how cool it's gonna look, right? It's like very, very neat looking. Think outside of the box. All right, so then here's another leaf. And then you can decide after you color it what you're gonna cut it out shape-wise, or if you're just gonna leave it. I would let it dry really good. Like if you start to cut it out and if it's still wet, it's not as big of a deal with the blends because they dry pretty quickly. But if you were like watercoloring it and it's still gonna hold a little bit of your color, Just let it dry super, super good before you cut it, just in case the paper is a little weak, you know, from having it be wet. And you want to make sure that you get a good crisp cut with the die. So, and that's a lot of times why I do cut ahead of time. But like I said, it messed me up on that other one because now I have a shape that I kind of wish I had, the circle. So are you liking this? Are you liking that it's kind of the grays? I hope so, because it's such a cool, like you don't have to be so like, oh my gosh, I don't know what color that's going to be. So I just picked these grays and the darks. So look, that looks already very, very cool. All right, so I think I got all the leaves. Think. Okay, so that was the dark smoky and the light smoky. So now when I do these flowers here are going to be the dark granite and the light granite. So I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to start at the edge where, you know, that it would be kind of dark there. Make sure I grab the right one, because I have done that before. Think that I've got the right color, and it's actually not. Okay. And I'm just going up. Here it would touch and be dark. There it would be dark. Here it would be dark. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Are you bored yet? I hope not. I hope not. I know we have the Disney Plus on our TV because we have it through the Hulu because we had that already. So it's kind of neat to be able to. My husband is a big Marvel. He loves the Marvel shows. So he's able to watch those. And then some of the new Pixar movies. I'm anxious to watch the Onward one, which is a new one. And you can already see it on, I believe they've already put it on there, which is kind of cool. So Eric's a big movie. He loves to go to the movies. So this is so weird for him, not being able to go to the movies all the time. So he has a girl that comes a few times a week, and she usually takes him shopping and, you know, helps him with the house cleaning and his laundry and stuff. So now she's coming, and they just kind of hang out at his house. You know, he's still teaching him stuff, but now they're just kind of pretending they're going to the theater. And so it's just a weird time. I told Jeff, I think every lifetime, there's always something in a person's lifetime that is a history. Like this is something in history. So, okay. So there is that. Let's see. All right. Okay, so then I want to do the light. So now I'm just going to come over and then wiggle, wiggle, wiggle where those two colors meet to get that line away. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And I just kind of go in a circle. I guess it's not a wiggle, but it's like a circle. But you just kind of want to go over where that is. And I am also leaving a little white at the tips. So it just makes it a little brighter on the end and makes it super, super cute. I know, hopefully. Okay, so I would keep going. And then what I want to do is, okay, so I would finish these flowers, but what I would do for these other little flowers is I would go back and have these ones be with the dark smoky and the light smoky. So pretend I've got that color because I don't want to bore you too much, right? Okay, so then what I would do is I would take my light basic black. So after I've got like everything all the way colored, so then I'm going to take my black, basic black, and I am just going to ever so slightly in these nooks and crannies, I guess you would call it, I'm just putting a little bit of the light black. And then I'm going to take my dark of whatever this was colored with, right? So this is the granite, but this was the smoky. So then I'm going to come here, and I just want to, so that's going to darken just a little bit. But I didn't want to start with that because I don't want to be too dark. But it's just going to make the flowers pop a little bit where it touches. Okay, so pretend I did that. And then this is the dark smoky. So then I'm going to go back with that dark smoky and just hit the edges just a little bit. And what that does is it makes that pop. It just pops that color out. But by doing it last, it just allows you to control that pop, because since it's colored, you can see. You know, if I had just started putting that black in there, it would have been too much probably. So if you do it at the end, you're just, I don't know, you can just kind of control that a little bit better, I find. So then I'm just, now this is the dark gray granite, and I'm just tap, tap, tap. And it just makes that pop. And you can do, you know, as much as you want. I mean, I would definitely, you know, add more, but just for the video, I'm not going to do any more just because of time. But because I know we all have time on our hands now, but still, you might have to get supper ready or something. All right. So there's that. Now, pretend I have all the way done, and then I have these cute little, the red blings. So this is where I was like, well, do I want to put do I want to keep it black and white, right? Or do I want to add a little bit of color with the red? So when I did so let me show you what I ended up doing with the finished one. So I went back to that same tall 3D box, and I used some of the bee, it's the honeycomb. I'm like totally getting the name wrong, but so hopefully you have some of this on hand, or even just any black and white striped DSP, or just black DSP in general. So I just put that on. So this is that little box that I showed you the other day. And then I cut it out because I did, you know, cut that out. Remember, I said I shouldn't have, but I cut all these thingies out. But what I did do was I found this really cool. So I do love it, backed by this die here, which looks really neat. But this way, but what I did was I took a Sharpie marker, a black Sharpie marker, and I just colored on the red bling, and I turned them, and you can kind of see the red underneath the black, but it totally keeps it with that black and white feel to it. And I did use my gel pen, wherever my gel pen is, it's hiding. And I did put some gel pen in certain areas just to add a pop, you know, of color. So it turned out pretty cool. Now this reminds me of, oh, do you watch Jaws? And they had that bathing suit. If this was red stripes. So Jeff was watching me the other day, and the guy's like, what does it say? That's a bad hat, Harry, or something like that. But that's kind of what that little box reminds me of. Like a bathing suit change thing on the beach. But so I still haven't decided what I want to do. Let me know what you think. Because I think it would look cool with just that pop of red in there. Don't you think that would look pretty neat? That's what I'm thinking. I might just do this one different. Cut it out in a circle. Maybe I'll do a different kind of DSP in the background. Maybe with some reds. But, so, anyways, that is what I wanted to pop in and show you this week. It's just, not having to have so much color going on, because that was part of the problem. I was having all sorts of too much color going on, and that's what made me decide to just simplify it, pull out a few just kind of basic colors and go from there. So I stamped a few more because I think I also want to try to do the same thing where it's monochromatic, I guess you would call it. But I was like thinking, what if I did some with like the pinks? So say I have all these kind of Roy G. Biv. So say I grabbed some pinks and I did like a set of flowers that just use the pinks or the blues or the purples or the greens. It's kind of fun. So definitely give it a try. Black and white, monochromatic, whatever you want to call it, but just have fun with it. And this is the perfect stamp set. Does your sit in color? It's a nice big size flower. You're going to be able to order those starting the 1st of April. Or if you join my team, you can also pick in your kit. So who knows? It depends on if you want it right away or if you want to wait a week or so. But so make sure you say hi, and I hope this live goes off without a hitch, like when I do the finish button. I swear I can mess it up somehow, but let's keep contacted somehow, all right? Send me a little note, say hi, let me know what you're doing, and let me know what you want to see next week on the live, or even during the week. So I'll say see you later. Have a good night. Bye for now.